Welcome to Living Magically. I'm your host, Magical Michelle, and today we have a lot of big energy. We are right now lined up to the Pallades in a very Palladian galactic energy. And so with all the solar storms and all the things, I know people are feeling really, really intense. And so I just want you to just take a deep breath because I've got really good news for you. And the good news is that this week in the astrology, we have some beautiful transition into Gemini. So we're moving out of the Taurus field and into Gemini season. And so it's going to shake things up a bit. We have a full moon in a couple days, and so I know the intensity starts right now because it's 3 days before that full moon. So we're moving from the Taurus energy into a bigger, powerful, big, fat, amazing Gemini. So Sun enters Gemini, and what that does is it sparks our curiosity, it sparks our communication, it sparks our learning. So we want to be more social, we want to be more communicative, we want to be more curious, and it asks us to be more adaptable. I mean, Gemini's the twins, so I think of it as a time for balance. It's an air season, so it's thinking and collecting data. And I think it's going to be interesting because later this week, we have not just the full moon, but we have a big major shift that happens once a year where Jupiter moves into a new sign. It's been in Taurus for an entire year, and now it moves into Gemini. So Jupiter is a planet of expansion. And so we're going to be expanding things. My personal prediction is that we're going to be see some major expansion into new technologies, new very rapid internet pieces, very big travel and communication pieces, because Gemini rules travel. And with Jupiter moving into Gemini, I think we're going to see faster airplanes, and I'm expecting big things to happen with new technologies around cars, computers, cell phones. I just really think we're going to have a major rapid AI transformation. And I know people are a little afraid of that, but I'm just going to let you know that I think it's going to be good for us. I think that it's going to be benevolent, and it's going to be a more playful year. Thankfully, we're going to have some play and some lightheartedness and some fun, because it is a very mercurial, very silly and joyful, and I think it's an opportunity for us to be more in our minds. I think we're going to be thinking more and expressing ourselves in a new way, mental agility and wit. So you're going to see that all compressed in this first month more than the whole rest of the year. But just understand, I think this is new energy that comes in with this week, but it's going to be all month, and it's going to be for a full year. This week, we get to look forward to that full moon in Sagittarius. And because that full moon is so potent, Sagittarius is fun, and so is Gemini. Think about this week as, how do I want to be more playful? How do I want to be more fun? What do I want to explore? Because Sagittarius, again, big exploration energy. So don't be surprised if some truth and clarity come out with the Gemini Sagittarius energy. So Gemini moon, I mean, Gemini sun, but this full moon in Sag, I really think, don't be surprised if you have deeper communication where the truth comes out on something, and people are more willing to communicate their honesty. And it's not necessarily good or bad, but maybe they just haven't told you. And that could be someone coming out with, I love you. It doesn't, we always think of a secret coming out or deeper communication being negative. I think it's going to be more, I want to work with you. I want to play with you. I want to share experiences with you, because the other thing that's really happening here is I think we're going to see a lot of cooperation and partnerships this year. I think we're coming into people not wanting to do it alone. And with that, it allows us to have a new experience. And in that, it's a full moon, so there's always an opportunity to let go. So what have you been holding on to? As you all know, one of my favorite things to do on a full moon is build a fire and actually have a bonfire of release. This would be an amazing time to do that. What are you letting go of? What kind of limitations have you put on yourself in your own personal definition of who you are and how you see yourself? What do you need to do to let go, relax, be part of a new theme? It's going to be really big because we also have Venus entering Gemini, and Venus is the goddess of love, right? So we're going to have this deeper communication. So this is my prediction, is that we're going to have way many secret crushes coming out. People telling us that we're wonderful. And I call it the I love you mans, right? Or I love you woman, where maybe there's been somebody secretly thinking you're awesome, saying what they really mean. And it could be in friendships and work, anywhere. Share and communicate. There's going to be a lot of social. It is a holiday weekend coming up. And so I think that people are going to be really having a good time with this energy. And the last thing that's kind of happening all on one day, this is all happening on the 23rd, we're going to have the full moon, Venus entering Gemini, and Jupiter sextile Neptune. So this is going to ask us to grow spiritually. This is going to ask us to have more compassion. This is going to ask us to really dig into our vision and our dreams. So as we're doing that, I think we're going to be talking about our dreams this week and sharing our dreams and what that means to other people, and maybe together creating. So I do think this is going to be a year about partnership, and I think some of those partnerships might happen in this first week of the energy, as well as I think it's a good time to, who do you want to work with and who don't you want to work with in any area of your life? And that could be fun things, business things, literally anything you're looking at. How do you want to show up in the world, and who do you want to do that with? Because the next day, as we get into the 24th, you have Jupiter sextile the true node. And whenever you have the true node involved, it is your long-term goals. It is your North Star. It is your position where you're looking to see, what is it that I'm driving toward? What is it I'm going for? And so it's a really powerful time to really get the action. And sometimes before action, we have to talk about it, share it, email it, write it. So it's a good time to be writing up notes. I'm interested in seeing how many books and how many podcasts and how many new forms of YouTube and things come out in this year of Jupiter in Gemini. I just really think it's going to be a lot of communicating, people actually asking the questions that maybe they've never asked before, overcoming that shyness and putting themselves out there. It's all these things talk about inspired learning as well. So whatever you want to learn about, I'm going to see a lot of people educating themselves, reading books, getting really philosophical, really, really spiritual, really deep emotional, and sharing it verbally, sharing their emotions. And that's interesting because we've been, the last few years, we've been so insular. And I really see it's interesting because it correlates, the astrology correlates to where 2020 was about like returning to figure out who you were. I think this is where you're going to start projecting out into the world. What are your goals? You're going to be thinking about it, and then you're going to be sharing it. It's really good to get vulnerable and actually share what you want and what you think with the people around you. And here's the thing that's really interesting about this to me is that we might already have thought about what we're doing, and the people around us might still be seeing us the way we were 5 years ago. This is a time to say, this is who I am, and this is what I want, and this is where I'm going. Because as we're changing, how are we changing how we show up in the world? How are we showing up differently? The internal shifts have mostly happened. And I'm not saying there won't be internal shifts coming, but right now, those big changes in April and March have kind of settled down. And this is how we actually start putting out the information into the world. We start sharing the plan. We start moving past the plan and into the doing, the sharing. And we might still need to stay grounded because Gemini is a big air sign, right? So it's big thoughts. Make sure you're staying grounded in this is the first step and this is the second step, because this might be a week of big planning and not necessarily the doing stage. And Gemini might have all these great dreams and visions, and we will all have that, but we still have to, what do they say? After enlightenment, there's still dishes. You're still gonna have to like live the everyday stuff and stay grounded. But it's a good time to get curious. It's a good time to like grow in a new way and plan for things and write out your business plans and write out your ideas. And it's an incredible time to socialize. If you're planning a party for the weekend, if you're doing a Memorial Day energetic party, it's going to be a good weekend. And it's going to have a positive outlook. And we need that. We need this sweet spot of joy and fun and playfulness. And you know me, anytime we're getting closer to the summer solstice, the sun's getting brighter and brighter in the sky. We're in this Palladian portal where we're lined up to the Pallades. We're in this energy of let's move forward. Let's move forward fearlessly. Let's think big. And I truly in my heart know that it's time to imagine the visualization aspect of Gemini. So we talked a second about communication, but there's also an inward, because Gemini is the twins, right? Two sides of the same coin. With this Venus and Gemini energy happening, it's time to vision it. And the inward side of the Gemini is to really meditate and really go inward. So we're sharing it with the world, but we're also going inward and getting clarity and truth. And we're seeing it, we're speaking it, we're writing it, we are embracing it. And we're going forward in this new version of us that is being created. we're actually creating the next version of ourselves as we speak. You know how they say you're flying the plane as you build it? That's exactly what the energy is. After we've had that big Taurus change energy, as we went through the eclipse cycles of change all in April and March, this is the time where we're spreading those wings. We're the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. We're that bright, forward, excited, happy social energy. So it's okay if you're like, I don't feel that way. It's still the beginning of the week. It's going to get more and more as we get closer to the full moon, and we'll have that full moon peak late in the evening on Thursday. So we were looking at deep full moon energy on Tuesday, Wednesday, peaking on Thursday, and then still that disseminating full moon with all these big changes into Gemini over the following days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're feeling like back and forth, a little bit bipolar, Gemini is the twins. It's I want to be in, I want to be out, I want to be sharing my stuff, but I need some space. I want to be alone. So my suggestion is that you plan enough time and energy for yourself alone, and you want to share things and express things. So you spend some time out and you spend some time in with yourself, and you share what you find inside with the ones around you. Big love, big communication energy happening right now and through the rest of this week. I really do love what is happening. And so with this full moon, think big, burn it all down, burn away any last resistance, write it all down, and start putting it into place. Every day in every way, my life is getting better and better. Every day in every way, I am finding that North Star, and I am making action steps and dreaming big. There's a dream big energy here. I would capitalize on it. It is an absolutely magical expression of a new energy. And I don't know about all of you, but I need a little new energy. It's been intense. This is that fun, that play, that fairy energy that is coming in to bring some lightheartedness, to bring some creativity, to bring a new thought era into being. New Earth is going to be grounded in this energy. We're going to be creating a new way of being, thinking, and expressing ourselves over the next year. So this is the first week of a big energy that's going to spread out over the coming 12 months. So get ready, hold on tight, and in the meantime, fly that plane while creating the reality you want to be living. So I love you, live magically, and we'll see you again next week.